losing lane matchup better because you're able to get back into lane a lot more easily, a lot more quickly, even if you do get poked out. So the
Game
trap is a
ketiga,
little less impactful overall,
Mm.
but of course you still want to make sure you have the right
versus
hero.
Yeah, I agree,
Cambodia.
definitely. Because again, we talked about how when it comes to the map-wise, it has a little bit of
Lancelot,
least impact compared to the rest of the
Diven,
three
Hilda,
maps that we've seen here for
Isunsin,
the
Baxia,
Land of
Brock.
Dawn itself. But again, it kind of helps away a little bit of the mobility moving into the Heroes Land area. But on the other nights, right here, we do see Turkiye
Gatot
taking out
Kaca.
Lancelot again. Hilda as well as Isunsin respect ban has been put down right here. And again, they are right here on the right side or left side of our first pick here for the last game.
This should definitely be a CC first pick. I think it'd be very strange if they didn't do that, since they are the ones who banned it out both times previously. They've gone for the respect now, getting rid of Hilda, YSS, as you pointed out. Cambodia still sticking to the same things, getting rid of the typical safe first pick of the two roamers, Grok and Gatot. So if it's not CC first, I would be a little bit confused. They're sticking to the high. I guess it's safer now that there's no Hilda, but you're giving away the CC.
We know for a fact that on the pass of the games itself from Turkey, we don't pretty much see Chi being picked out by Turkey. Pretty much not the priority pick for them compared to Cambodia. They have played actually Chi when they were fighting off with, if I'm not mistaken, with Colombia. Yeah, the Colombia was the one they actually fought off. So probably that is the reason why Turkey is not actually taking that risk. But at the same time, Cambodia, we talked about how Iesf is pretty much one of the prioritized hero that has already been used up for twice already. Is it going to be one of the first two picks they're going to pick up right here, or will they change it up right here? It seems that no, Iesf still be maintained, but Lapu yet again also been picked up, but just a little bit too early on compared to previously.
I think Lapu is perfectly fine to pick early, though I feel like it would have been better to go CC Eve. You could have had a lot more flexibility with that. Now that that's been locked in, Turkey does still have a second chance to grab the CC for themselves again. Since there is an Eve on the opposite side, they might prioritize Esmeralda instead though. I'm hoping that they at least grab their mid or roam alongside it, because those are the heroes that got focused quite hard in the ban phase afterwards.
The fact that, again, we talked about how Turkey pretty much prioritized on a little bit of single lockdown, so I kind of wish that they have a little bit of more CC here. More of the lockdown for themselves as a team fight, but first damage will be the priority here for Team Turkey, having the Harith as well as Kimi, and this is the motion that we talked about, how Kimi is very dangerous as a mid laner.
Going for full scaling now.
Yep.
Team Turkiye is effectively saying, no double fighter side lane, we're keeping it basic, we're keeping it scaling, we didn't have enough damage in the last game, so we're going to make sure that we do this time around, and Cambodia responds in kind. It does look like the Granger is a comfort pick for them, regardless of his position in the meta, so they're going to prioritize that.
Agree, definitely. I think pretty much we did see Cambodia picking off Ranger when they fought off with Colombia, and it was a success coming from them as well when they fought off. It's a really combination that they've done already with Iesf as well as Gatot Kaca. So the question is right now, as the banning phase comes through, Esmeralda again being taken out from the equation, because we talked about how it is kind of dangerous if given out early on to the side of Turkey.
Yeah, I think banning Esme is fine, since it is a good solution into both the Eve and the Lapu. If Cambodia didn't ban it, I imagine that Turkey would actually have banned it, since they wouldn't want to have that in the Harith lane. They don't really need to ban Ruby anymore, since Granger has already been shown. They're going to focus on junglers, so getting rid of the Suyo. Probably want to consider getting rid of the Joy as well.
Joy. Because the fact is right now to just slowly, smaller size, all the pools of heroes itself, and we do see Glue being taken out from the side of Cambodia. I mean, yeah, we know for a fact that Glue, it is massive when it comes to pulling off with the spread as well as grab. It kind of actually have a lot of sustainability if it goes into the hands of Turkey, but we have Khalid instead be taken out by them.
Okay, getting rid of the Khalid just in case Cambodia goes for another invade strat. So with Hilda and Khalid both gone, that means that Kujo shouldn't be invaded in the jungle and can farm safely on this Hayabusa. And that is an important thing to do, since you have Harith Kimi, you're leaning more into late game scaling. That means your early few minutes are not going to be quite as strong. Now, Team Cambodia going to have first pick. They're looking for their jungler and their roamer.
They are so casually focused on Suyo previously, but I think they pretty much will be picking up Badang for themselves. Previously, they actually banned off Badang, so they still left out that assassin right on the last pick itself. Now, Turkiye, again, we talked about how burst damage-wise they have in their hands, but they still have not much of the lockdown that is required, a lot of the CCs that is need inside their hands. Heroes that is quite sustained so that they can pull through for their front line.
I still like Kaja. I feel like Team Turkiye should be willing to grab it. It would work really well in the mid lane with Kimmy, counters the Eve, and then you can pair it up with like the Yuzong, and there it is, there's the Kaja. Okay, great. Good adjustment. I think EXP lane should be Yuzong. You could also make an argument for Uranus, though I prefer a hero that has some crowd control. See what it is, the Yuzong. All right.
This world desperately needs.
You're actually the coach for Turkey, right?
Yes.
Yes. Because you pretty much read up everything. You literally tell them, this is what I want for today, okay? Thank you very much, Turkey. Staffa.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it, honestly.
Yeah.
I was sad that the Kaja didn't show up last game. It's good to see the adjustment because Kalea just doesn't work as well. Now Cambodia, their last pick, they're gonna be looking for a jungler. Joy no longer gonna be as good. If Kaja didn't show up, I would have actually recommended Fanny. But now that Kaja is here, that's no longer as good either. They could go tank jungle actually if they want to play it safe. But Fredrin's the only one left, and he also doesn't have a good time against Kaja, so they're gonna have to figure something out.
I mean,
You and me.
it's the only
Alright.
option left for them somehow. I mean, even though, yeah, you do kind of talk about how it might not be a very safe, or should I say, fun moment for Fredrin to come along, but we know for a fact now that's the only response that is coming off from Team Cambodia. Looking on the draft-wise, I do feel like on the side of Turkey, it's much more sturdy compared to what we saw from draft number 2. But on the side of Team Cambodia, it's a lot of the response are saying that, oh, you have that, I'm just gonna respond with that, and okay, I'm left with this, so I'm just gonna pick this as well. So it's not much of a way of saying like, it's okay, but at the same time, it's a little bit of risky. This is just on my opinion side.
Yeah, I think that Team Cambodia is kind of falling into a similar issue where they have been limited in terms of the drafting, but this time around their team composition is a very traditional front to back. As long as they keep Mlbb and Elon safe, they can scale up. They can fight into Team Turkiye quite easily. Team Turkiye though has a lot more damage scaling in exchange for being a lot squishier overall. They only have one front line, and Yuzong is not really meant to be a damage soaker. So even though they have late game scaling, they can't afford for the game to last too long either.
Agree, and this is it. The end could be for both of this team. Is it going to be Turkiye or Team Cambodia? Give it up for our lower quarterback finals!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep our eyes peeled and hopefully you all have your popcorn ready because this is going to be a best of one basically now between Team Turkiye and Cambodia. Only one will be able to move on. This is the lower bracket. Loser goes home. Their journey in WEC ends. And that is a fate neither of these teams wants to encounter.
All right, now, I feel like, again, we keep on talking about how Uwe always make the key. The fact that she will always go for the invasive attack. That's the reason why most of the time it is a little bit of invasive, a little bit of too much of unnecessary movement. But it kind of is quiet coming in from Cambodia. Even though in despite that we have so much of the heroes pool coming from Turkey, has a lot of burst damage early on, they do want to pressurize Turkey.
Yeah, I think so as well. They have the Kimmy mid. We already know how powerful this hero can be, and we can already see the poke that Uwe is taking. But Dang actually has a little less priority over something like a Kaja nowadays. So they can make use of that. And this allows Turkey to actually play off of the mid lane rotation again. In game 2, they weren't allowed to freely move to the side lanes, and that's what cost them the early game.
Yep, definitely. And the fact that I want to see can Wei make a really good setup. Because the fact that having Badang on the side, it can actually help a really good setup, a really good initiation. Got a fist crack, fist break. It will be able to actually tone down a little bit of mobility coming in from Turkey. But this is going to be the first turtle dance. A little bit of pokiness coming from Cambodia with Tegami, Ilan, as well as Wei together. We see Moshi just ready to just back things up if anything happens. But Turkey pushing a little bit slower because they know they have to find a little bit of safe space between each other. Now Nora comes in, this break comes through right here with the Bravest Fighter also comes in, but it's not going to be enough though. Pushing on right now, just a little bit of immunity for Wayside, but it wasn't enough though. RWM finally comes through. Unohana takes down Uwe first of all, and now pushing on right now, Unohana will be sacrificed by the side of Cambodia, but is it going to be enough? Moshi takes down Unohana first, but Zendaya, not much of a damage could be done as now it's going to be a 1-for-1 break.
Now the first turtle fight actually goes in the advantage of Team Cambodia because they have a lot more team fight overall, but I really like the combo of the Traction Pulse into the Furious Dive Petrify combo. Unfortunately, even after that, Turkiye doesn't have enough damage yet, but Kujo! Steals the turtle!
Still the turtle in the hands of Turkey, and not only that, still a kill from Moshi's side as well.
That is an immediate turnaround. I was literally about to say the only way Turkey can probably contest this is if Kujo steals it. And that's exactly what happened because Cambodia just has a better hold. They have a tank jungle, they have RWM. It's very difficult for Turkey to fight them until they have one or two items.
Agree, and the fact that timing is so precious on the side of Cambodia. Great response coming through, but at the same time, Turkey, they need to step back just a little bit, but at the same time, play a little bit of sneaky motion. And this is where the fine line that surprise factor is needed for Turkey.
All right, that's a good start. But Team Cambodia don't need to be too frazzled about this yet. They can actually afford for this game to last a little bit longer. They have really good late game scaling with Eve and Granger, and it's a very strong artillery combo with their frontliner of the Fredrin. As long as they don't fall too behind in terms of farm, they'll be absolutely fine once we get into the later stages.
Yeah, there's a little bit of scrimmage right here to push out, making sure that they don't actually invade too much from the goal lane side, giving a little bit of breather for Mieko as well. Now, rotation-wise, we do see Cambodia just moving from up to bottom, making sure that they can stick around and do some of trouble to the side of Turkiye.
Yeah, Turkey is still the team that has the slightly more difficult comp to execute, actually. And, ooh, that might be trouble.
This might be trouble straight away, taking out Unohana immediately with no one to back things up. It's a good win, but here on out, Shadow Kill comes through. Doesn't get anyone, unfortunately, had to move away. Even Nora could not actually lock onto anyone. Cambodia just gets away with that kill.
Yeah, this is the main issue of Team Turkey's lineup. They only have one frontline hero, and it's a Yu Zong. He is not designed to be a damage sponge. He needs to sustain, which means that he needs to be ahead. And Unohana has been firing pretty alright, but she's not quite farmed enough to be able to 1v4. Because of that, Team Cambodia can take advantage and brute force through with pure muscle if they find a good positioning.
Let's see, right now so far, Team Turkey have a lot of answers to the side of Team Cambodia, but they're not doing so good as well. So this is going to be the second turtle dance. So far right now, Cambodia poking a little bit. She comes in to actually pull out, come through with Yuzong, but then at the same time, doesn't get as much of the presence as needed. Respect comes through, takes down Kujo immediately. The jungler was already being stolen out by Team Cambodia. Unfortunately, Turkey could not say anything to that.
Yeah, that was a bit messy from Team Turkey. A lot of mistakes were made, but at least Mieko was able to get a trade onto the top tower instead. Firstly, Team Turkey stacked way too many ultimates onto Tegami at the same time. They kind of wasted the Traction Pulse because it happened at the same time as the Divine Judgment. And because they full committed onto Tegami, they completely ignored Kujo in the back. Hayabusa can normally take care of himself, but I think Kujo may have shown a little bit too early, and Uwe didn't let that chance slip. So Team Cambodia once again making use of their stronger team fight catching, and Team Turkey needs to wait a little longer before their damage really starts kicking in.
This is where the fine line that Team Turkey, they need to be a step ahead compared to Team Cambodia. Every move that is made by Team Cambodia have been very, very wonderful. Even Kujo could not get that pick damage that is required to shut down. And Tegami comes in, dispersing down even more. And now, unfortunately, will be tagged off. Tegami takes down Kujo, but on the side of Mochi right here will be tagged off by 3 players. So much pressure being done, but Uno Hana just trying to survive that. Mochi shuts down because of the 4 players wiped out.
That's actually still not too bad though. Mochi actually bought a lot of time, and that's going to allow Cambodia just enough to transition over to the mid lane and do some damage. The tower, Black Dragon form going to be used to zone them out though.
Coming in right now, trying to make sure they clear out the minion waves. A lot of pressure's already been given out by Team Cambodia. Turkey got a lot of good response, but still it's not going to be enough if they keep on playing into the hands of Cambodia.
Yeah, Kujo's having a tough time this time around. The Hayabusa trying to take independent action, but not having enough farm to do so. You can indicate that just from the fact, oh, you got Shadow Kill, wasn't enough to kill Granger alone. So now Kujo has to be aware, not as strong as before. He has to play more with the team, look for pickoffs if possible, and play a bit of a catch-up game.
Let's see if Turkey has what it takes to turn things around. Tegami just stepping ahead, trying to tag off Uno Hana, but at the same time, this is just a little bit of them trying to zone out, making sure that at least this turtle will be in the hands of Team Cambodia. Turkey, unfortunately, just to be on the safe side, they will allow this to happen and making sure that they just focus on a little bit of the pushing of the minion wave. But at the same time, Nora trying to utilize every moment is just not going to be enough.
The time has definitely come for Team Turkey to just focus on macro. They know that Team Cambodia has to play largely together. And so the way you counter that is by forcing them to split up, by targeting different areas of the map. There is of course the risk of getting caught out on your own, but they gotta be willing to take some risks to make things happen.
Session Fox comes in, trying to drag Tegami, but here, wait, as well with RWM been put out. Soul Grave comes through, but it doesn't get anyone, it doesn't land, it just kind of actually holds out the position. Mlbb shuts down Nora immediately, and now goes in for the backline. Mieko in trouble trying to put out that Zama first to show emoji, but unfortunately that turret will be given out to Team Cambodia.
Yeah, Team Cambodia knows that they can just brute force their way through here, and they're going to try and use that. If they can end the game before the scaling really starts kicking in on Zendaya and Mieko, that is their pathway through to the next stage. And unfortunately, the timing for Team Turkiye is starting to fade away. They have good catch with this Kaja, but they haven't been able to make good use of it. They haven't found the right targets because they've been trying to aim for Tegami the whole time. They just don't have enough damage yet to actually take down the Fredrin.
Not much of impact coming in with Uno Hana being the dragon, the sole one to make sure the front line can actually divide it. But unfortunately, not much of the catch. Freeze break comes through right here, but Uno Hana managed to actually move away. But at the same time, coming through right now, Zama Force being put out. Ilan takes down Uno Hana first of all, but being shut down from the backline by Kujo. But at the same time, they lost their 3 players in the hands of Cambodia, and this is where the fine line Turkey. Yes, you managed to actually go for the backline, but it's still a win for Cambodia.
I think this is now a question of comfort here. I think Team Turkiye is not used to playing this style of draft, especially into a full front to back composition. It requires a little bit of finesse to pilot, and I'm not really seeing that. You can see they're scrambling a little bit, a bit too reactive when they need to be the ones in the initiative position. And Cambodia has a lot easier of a time. They can just throw bodies at Turkiye because they know the damage hasn't kicked in yet.
Oh, Kujo is barely been scrapped there, but still managed to actually score it. This is again not going to be easy for her to actually steal away. I know she wanted to try it, but it's not going to be an easy target, especially with the fact that you again are at the no man's land trying to survive it out. Not to worry, we'll be able to score it without being taken out by Cambodia.
Yeah, I think Kujo should be able to escape here. The issue is 4v5 defense. That's actually kind of worth it there to trade Uno Hana for the tower as well as 1 kill on Uwe. We can see that the combo is there. The traction pulse into the mass petrify from the Yuzong is very strong, but the rest of Turkiye don't have enough damage yet to actually follow up, and that is the risk of a play. It's not a guaranteed victory yet because Cambodia have good late game scaling. In fact, Mlbb on this Granger has not really been allowed to play her game for a lot of the tournament, but has actually online for once and is terrifying to deal with.
I mean, talking about KDA 503, not even one person can actually go to the back line to steal away Mlbb. Mlbb has just been guarded so well by Cambodia to a point that this is the reason why Turkey is having a little bit of lost path at the moment, with them knowing for a fact that they're down by 5 kills towards Cambodia's side. Stepping up right now with 26 seconds on the clock for the Lord to come through. A little bit of invasive to the side of the buff as well, but at the same time, this is just going to be freely taken by Cambodia.
Yeah, Team Turkiye gonna make the executive decision there to not contest, which I think is the right play, but it's not going to feel good. Kujo 2 levels down on Tegami currently, which means that the next Lord is going to be hard to contest as well. I feel like Turkey needs to be willing to take risks. They need to be willing to just give up objectives and try to make plays on the map instead, because constantly trying to find team fights is not working too well so far.
Again, trying to force that soul grip, trying to actually catch up anyone from the Cambodia side. In this time, probably they could actually go with a split push. This is what desire from the side of Turkey, to find a way not to just engage for the team fight. Just push that minion so that at least Cambodia doesn't push in all together, because the power, the core strength of Cambodia right now is all but Prescribe comes through. Miyako does manage to take that Turkey, but at the same time right here, RWM pulls through, they will be scattered around. Elan just barely surviving, but Moshi will be the one to take down Nora, and as well as Miyako will be shut down by Mlbb. Now 2 players already been shut down. This is going to be a lot again in the hands of Cambodia.
Honestly, a really good attempt by Miyako to dive the backline, almost taking out Mlbb. A shutdown onto the Granger would have actually been worth trading her life for, but not able to find it. If she just had one more teammate's assistance, the Granger would have been dead for sure, but Turkey was a little bit too scattered, and I feel like that was an independent decision. Team Cambodia going to be able to take advantage of it. And again, if they had played the map instead, they could have at least gotten something out of it in exchange for the Lord, but they unfortunately come out without much.
Agree, and the fact that right now, more and more of their movement is being readed up by the team of Cambodia. No matter how much they try to actually go in, this is where the fine line that you don't want to actually face on your enemy, knowing for a fact that they are sticking together as 5 men. And the fact that RWM was just right on spot to just gather them around, and they don't have that weird positioning. So Grip comes through right here with the Dragon from Unohana, but doesn't manage to actually clear out that Lord. Somehow, they do manage to actually have a really good front line, but at the same time, Kujo just right on the sideline right here, trying to do a little bit of damage, but clearing off all the waves as well is their own ultimate. But here Tegami comes in, RWM been pulled through, some force been put up, but doesn't catch you, hold on. And in the end, Miyako is the one to be sacrificed by Mlbb, and living on now Crystal, they goes in for the dive. Elan takes down Unohana, now living on only Nora, but the Shadow Girl starts come in, doesn't have any much damage, and Mlbb takes down Nora, leaving Kujo all by herself. Cambodia, that Crystal is yours. You will be moving to the next level as we say goodbye to Turkiye.
A maniac secured by Mlbb at the very end of this game 3, as Team Cambodia has defied the odds, reversed the gameplay, and secured a reverse sweep to eliminate Team Turkiye and keep themselves in the competition. Their dreams of once again reprising their place on the podium remaining intact.
Great positioning coming up from the team of Cambodia. Turkey, unfortunately, with a really good information or even answer for the draft itself, it doesn't have a much potential or even impact to the side of Cambodia because of how much pressure, how much invasive motion that was done. And now Cambodia gets to feel a little bit happy, still surviving here for WEC 2025.